Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. This is your Wolves Manchester United preview. It's at Molineux, it's on Sunday, 4:30 kick-off. It's match day 3. This will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 100th Premier League game as Manchester United manager. I'm expecting Raphael Varane to make his debut for the club. He played no part against Southampton last weekend, and Jadon Sancho should make his first Premier League start. Now, so far we have registered 4 points from our first 2 league games. Last weekend we drew 1-1 with Southampton, and we beat Leeds on the opening day 5-1. Wolves have endured a very poor start to the season. They've lost their first 2 league games. They lost to Tottenham 1-0, and they lost their opening game against Leicester 1-0. But Wolves beat Nottingham Forest 4-0 in the EFL Cup. So that was a good result for Wolves. Wolves' manager is Bruno Lage. They appointed him in this summer. Before Wolves, Bruno Lage was at Benfica. Wolves had Nuno Santo before Bruno Lage, but Nuno Santo left Wolves at the end of last season. Nuno Santo is Tottenham's manager. Now, the last game of last season, we beat Wolves at Molineux 2-1. Our goals came from Juan Mata and Elanga. And we beat Wolves at Old Trafford last season 1-0. It was a goal from Marcus Rashford in stoppage time. Wolves have beat us a couple of times at Molineux. They beat us in the FA Cup quarter-final a couple of years ago, 2-1. That season, Wolves got to the FA Cup semi-final for the first time in 21 years. Wolves have finished 7th in the Premier League a couple of times. One of Wolves' key players is Adama Traore. Another one of their key players is Raul Jimenez. Another one of their key players is Neto. Podence is also very good for Wolves. I think he's just come back from injury. Another one of Wolves' key players is Moutinho. They've also got Dendoncker. Ruben Neves is very good for them. Don't forget, Manchester United are linked with Ruben Neves. Man United are eyeing a cut price deal for Ruben Neves. We are unwilling to pay £40 million. Wolves are demanding £40 million for Ruben Neves. Bruno Lage wants to keep Ruben Neves, but says every player has a price. Earlier on in the summer, Ruben Neves hinted that he'd made a decision on his future. He called any talks of a transfer away. He said that he's very happy at Wolves, and he revealed his excitement of working alongside Bruno Lage. Earlier on in the summer, it said that Man United were leading Arsenal in the race to sign Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves, his performances for Wolves have been superb. He's got a contract with Wolves until 2024. Wolves paid £15.8 million for him from Porto back in 2017. But the reasons I would take him at Manchester United is because he's still got a lot of development in him. He would fit our team perfectly, and he's well proven in the Premier League. Wolves have also got Romain Saiz, who I really like. He put a very good performance out in the game at Old Trafford last season. Wolves have also got Connor Cody, who I like. They've got Kilman, Nelson Semedo is also very good for them. Wolves got him from Barcelona. They've also got Fabio Silva. They've got Fernando Markel, who I think they brought in last year. Wolves have got some injuries. Neto is out with injury at the moment. Mosquera, he's out with injury. Bueno, he's been out with injury. Johnny, he's out with injury. Willie Bowley, he's also out with injury. But I'm expecting some of them players to be available for Wolves on Sunday. Now, this is a must-win game for Manchester United. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League since January 2020. Reflecting on that 1-1 draw with Southampton last weekend, we equalled Arsenal's record. Now, we have got some players missing. As you all know, Alex Telles, he's still out with injury. Wouldn't have been in contention to play in this game anyway. Telles sustained an ankle injury in training quite a few weeks ago. Marcus Rashford, he's still out with a shoulder injury. It said Rashford's going to be out until October. Earlier on in the summer, Rashford decided to have surgery on his shoulder. Edison Cavani hasn't been available. He's been out due to personal reasons. Dean Henderson's been unavailable because he's been recovering from COVID. Eric Bailly, he's also been out. Ilanga's out at the moment, and Amad Diallo is out due to personal reasons. And I heard that McTominay recently sustained a knock. Jones was out, but obviously he's now back. Jones made his comeback from injury in that behind closed doors game against Burnley. But Wolves, I think they're going to really struggle this season. Obviously last year they lost Diego Jota to Liverpool. They also lost Man Utd to Tottenham. After Wolves, we do play Newcastle, then it's West Ham. By the way, the EFL Cup third round draw will be done tonight after the Arsenal West Brom game. Now, you know the news on the transfers. You know the news on Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid. Where will Saul Niguez end up? Manchester United, Chelsea or Liverpool? He said Man United could hijack Chelsea's bid to sign Saul Niguez. Fabrizio Romano mentioned that Chelsea have tabled an offer for Saul Niguez. It's an initial loan with an option to buy next summer. Chelsea is the more likely destination for Niguez than Man United. Man United are unlikely to make a move for Niguez. We need to sell some players to get Saul Niguez on the board. But it did recently say that Man United are leading Chelsea in the race. Narratives were saying recently that Man United will bring Saul Niguez in on an initial loan deal. He said Man United will pay a loan fee. And will pay the midfielders full wages for the entire season. He said the loan deal would include an option to buy or maybe even an obligation to buy. But reports from the AS said that Niguez is on the verge of leaving Atletico Madrid. Before the start of the season, he said that Man United had made contact with the agents of Saul Niguez. And he said his agents were due in England for talks with Man United and Liverpool. Niguez has a gentleman's agreement in place with Atletico Madrid that will allow him to leave. Niguez has a £128 million release clause. He's got a contract until 2026 because back in 2017 he signed a 9-year contract. And he's been a long-serving player at Atletico Madrid. He endured 13 years with them. Risen up their academy. Niguez can be deployed as a central midfielder or a defensive midfielder. He's valued at £38 million. Man United are also in for Eduardo Camavinga. Eduardo Camavinga to Manchester United is possible. Reports from France said that Camavinga is set to leave Rennes before the transfer window closes. Camavinga has made Rennes supporters aware that he played his final game at the club. Rennes are prepared to sell Camavinga for 30 million. Man Utd and PSG have been the ones battling it out for him. The other week, Eduardo Camavinga's agent, Jonathan Barnett, said that Camavinga was in no rush to decide his future. We're also linked with Declan Rice from West Ham. It recently said Man Utd make a Declan Rice swap deal proposal to West Ham for Lingard. Declan Rice has rejected 3 contract offers at West Ham. Declan Rice is unhappy with West Ham's 100 million price tag. And obviously we've been linked with Ruben Neves from Wolves. It's just under a week now until the summer transfer window closes. It's said from the Manchester Evening News that Man Utd are unlikely to make any more signings before the transfer window closes, but Solskjaer's already confirmed he wants Man Utd to make one more signing. Man Utd have made 3 signings in this summer transfer window. We brought Tom Eaton in on a free from Aston Villa. We brought Jadon Sancho in from Borussia Dortmund, and we brought Rafael Varane in from Real Madrid. And we have spent around £113 million. Earlier on in the summer, Solskjaer did mention that he's been pleased with our summer transfer business. Solskjaer has received the backing he deserves. Surprisingly, our owners, the Glazers, have backed him only because they've been persuaded to. Because towards the end of last season, a lot of United fans protested against the Glazers at Old Trafford because the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League. Solskjaer did reveal that the Glazers apologised, and it said at one point the Glazers could have been forced to sell Man United, but for only £4 billion. On the 4th of June, which was earlier on this year, Joe Glazer attended a fans forum and he promised Man United supporters that Solskjaer would get the funds that are available, but the Glazers have been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time, because they've put Man United in so much debt. The Glazers have been at Man United for 16 years. They purchased the club for 500 million back in 2005. Woodward has said several times before that he'd back Solskjaer, even when we was enjoying them bad periods under Solskjaer. Woodward assured that Solskjaer's job was safe. Woodward stood by him, to be fair. Woodward's leaving Man United. It got announced he was leaving when that European Super League came into the equation. Woodward has had a 16-year association with the club. But he has been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time, because obviously he's been accountable for how poor our recruitment was for so long, plus we've overpaid for players in recent years. John Murtough, he's played a part in getting Solskjaer the players he wanted in. John Murtough is our director of football, and Man United certainly made the right decision getting a director of football in. And you've got Matt Judge, that's part of the club, and so too is Darren Fletcher. But Manchester United need to sell to buy. We have not sold one single player in this summer transfer window. We have loaned quite a few players out in this window. We recently loaned Brandon Williams out to Norwich. We loaned Andres Pereira out to Flamengo. We loaned Axel Tuanzebe out to Aston Villa. We loaned Facundo Pellistri out. And we also loaned Tahith Chong out to Birmingham. And we also loaned Ethan Laird out to Swansea. Solskjaer did say prior to the game against Southampton that James Garner will be going out on loan. And I think Amad Diallo's going out on loan because, like I updated you recently, Fabrizio Romano said that Amad Diallo is still expected to leave Man United on loan. He mentioned that Crystal Palace have asked for him, so has Sheffield United. He's only interested in Premier League clubs. Atlanta want to re-sign Amad Diallo on loan. Solskjaer did say prior to the Southampton game that he expects Amad Diallo to stay at Manchester United this season. Solskjaer did mention he was impressed with Amad Diallo in training. I'm expecting Man United to offload some players in January next year, and will offload more next summer, I should presume. It recently said that Man United are ready to let go of Donny van der Beek and Victor Lindelof to make way for more signings. Now, there's a good chance Van der Beek will leave anyway because he hasn't been given enough game time at Man United. This is Van der Beek's second full season at the club. Last season, Van der Beek made 36 appearances for Man United in all competitions. Most of them appearances came from the bench. I recall Van der Beek starting just 4 games in the league last season. I haven't really had much of a perception on Van der Beek at Man United, but in general he's a good player because he was good at Ajax. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth £40 million from Ajax last year, with add-ons included of course. Van der Beek's under contract with Man United until 2025. And he's versatile, he can play in 3 different roles. As for Lindelof, we definitely need to offload him because I've got my strong reservations about Lindelof. He's always been a static centre-half. He's been inconsistent in a lot of his games at Man United and he makes too many mistakes. Lindelof's got a contract with Man United till 2024. We got Lindelof in a deal worth 31 million from Benfica back in 2017. I said we should also offload Phil Jones, but we won't be offloading him in this summer transfer window. Phil Jones is staying at Man United this season because Solskjaer told Phil Jones that he remains part of his plans. Diego Dalot, I also want us to offload him, but he said a few weeks ago it's very likely that Diego Dalot will be staying at Man United. To be fair, he was impressive throughout pre-season. Last season Dalot was out on loan with AC Milan. I'd also like us to offload Nemanja Matic, but won't happen in this summer transfer window. You know, Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his chances. My reservations about him that he's always been a static midfielder and he's ageing up. We got Matic for 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Was it before the start of last season? Matic signed a new 3-year contract with Man United. I also want us to offload Fred. he isn't good enough to represent the club, and that just showed that last weekend against Southampton. Fred was abysmal. Obviously Southampton's first goal got a deflection off Fred, and Fred gave the ball away countless times. He's had his good games at Man United. We overpaid for Fred. We got him in a deal worth 52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. Lingard, I hope we can offload him. West Ham and Everton want Lingard. West Ham's first team coach Stuart Pearce said the other week that West Ham want to sign Jesse Lingard, and he mentioned that he's a special lad. He said West Ham received a huge boost in their pursuit of Lingard because we dropped our asking price for Lingard to 20 million. Initially we was demanding 30 million, but Fabrizio Romano mentioned that West Ham were going to submit another bid. Last season Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham. Lingard's current contract at Man United expires next year. Solskjaer did confirm though that Lingard remains part of his plans despite the ongoing speculation. I also want us to offload Anthony Martial, but won't happen in this summer transfer window. Martial's not good enough to represent the club. Martial was very poor against Southampton last weekend, even though he did have that rebounded chance that got cleared off the line by Salisu. Before the start of the season, the Telegraph said that Man United had no intentions of selling Anthony Martial, as he's part of Solskjaer's plans this season. Just before that though, it said Man United ready to sell Anthony Martial but wanted at least £50 million. So, there you go. But this season is absolutely massive for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he is aware of that. This season is Solskjaer's third full season as Man United manager, and he's got big expectations to exceed. Solskjaer has to win a trophy this season to basically save his job. He's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and we haven't won a trophy since 2017, which is 4 years ago now. Solskjaer's ambition for this season is to win the Premier League. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is 8 years ago now. Before the start of the season, Solskjaer talked up Man United's title hopes. He said he knew the pressure was on. He made an admission saying that Man City were the favourites, but he said the title race is open. There's already Man United fans wanting Solskjaer out after just 2 games. Yes, there was questions that Solskjaer had to answer in the game against Southampton. Why didn't he start Jadon Sancho? Why did Rafael Varane not start or play any part? And I've told you one of my biggest concerns about Solskjaer is his decision making, because analysing the vast majority of his games at Man United, he's been tactically naive. And I think before the start of the season, Man United certainly made a mistake giving Solskjaer that new 3-year contract, because he won't see out this new 3-year contract. Because he isn't the long-term manager for Man United, and a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. I've not changed my perception on Solskjaer, despite us bringing Sancho and Varane in. But I do think he is our best manager since Ferguson, despite me criticising him a lot during his managerial tenure at Man United. Solskjaer has been in charge of Manchester United for almost 3 years now. And reflecting how long he's been at the football club, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job. Ole has no proven pedigree as a manager. Before he was with us, he was at Mould. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. He enjoyed 2 spells at Molde, and before then he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was terrible. He got Cardiff relegated, and that's the reason he got sacked at Cardiff. But if the results aren't good enough in the next 6 or 7 games from now, I will start demanding Ollie out. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.